Wonderful. 3, 2. What episode is this? 4?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. What up? What up? What up? What's going on, everybody? Hello. Hi. That was my white voice.
Welcome back.
Wait, do that voice again?
Hello. Hi. That's how I answer the phone.
Yo, I am
sorry to bother you.
You said what?
Have you seen Sorry to Bother You?
No, actually, I do need to go see that.
I heard it was so good.
Yeah,
it's probably not even in theaters anymore now.
That's probably good. I liked it a lot.
Oh, anyway, NWAP cast season 5, episode 4. I'm gonna stop saying I'm the host / moderator. I'm just gonna introduce myself because
I'm that nigga.
Stop saying that. Yeah, I'm Smooth.
I'm Tunde, Talk 7.
I'm Lextopia.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Before we start, we know Lex, do you want to tell people what else you got going on? You fucking traitor, you fucking sellout, trying to leave us behind. Lex out here doing new shit, trying to leave niggas in.
Ain't telling nobody.
Ain't telling nobody
about it on
I'm so caught off guard right now.
Yeah,
why you
nigga,
do that to me?
Because we were caught off guard, Lex.
I didn't know I couldn't do other projects.
Embarrassing us out in the streets.
Wow, nigga, you just cheating on us and niggas didn't even know.
Yo, you ain't even my girl. Chill.
Whoa!
Chill.
Jesus. Nice.
Yo, I appreciate the love / hate. But me and my friend Carly, we started a podcast too. But it's not pop culture. We're just talking about different topics of life, essentially. So
basically, y'all doing y'all own Negroes with a podcast with no men.
Unless they're guests, and you have to come to LA to be a guest.
Wow.
We might fly you out.
Yes.
Yes. No, but it's cool. She has a background in like holistic wellness, things like that. So a lot of the topics are around those types of things.
What's the name of the podcast?
It's called Carly's Couch, and the website is carlyscouch.com, CARLIES Couch, and we're on iTunes and Google Play and YouTube. You
guys got an episode out already, right?
Yeah, and the next one is out this week. They come out on Mondays.
Good. Oh, also, if you don't know, you can now find the podcast, our podcast, not Lex's side project, her side bitch project. You can find us. We're on Spotify now.
Yo, we are on Spotify.
Wow. I don't even know what that means that we're on Spotify, but we're on there now. So
cool. It gives you access to millions of other people.
So millions of other people who are probably listening to us. Welcome to Negroes with a Podcast.
Welcome.
And our whole library is on there, not just from season 5.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, but this might be the first episode that they're listening to.
Yeah.
Got that shit off to a real. This ain't even how we usually start the podcast. So this is doing all kinds of different shit right now.
You never know how we start out the podcast. That's why you should listen. It's entertaining every week.
Indeed. So this week, actually, if you are a new listener, this is actually a really good episode, where last week's episode and this week's episode and next week's episode are actually a really good week to start, because we're doing our Negro with what's the name of the shit?
Meet the Negroes.
Meet the Negroes podcast, where all of us take turns being interviewed by other cast members so that you guys can learn, and gals, and those who don't identify as either, and those who self-identify as whatever it is that you self-identify as, can listen to us. So this week, it's actually my turn to be interviewed by my podcast members. We were going to do Tunde, but Tunde has like a life and he has like shit to do. So he couldn't do today.
My bad, y'all.
Yeah. I'm tired of y'all niggas having side projects. I just want y'all to know that now. Like, all I do is go to work, go to school.
Don't you have a million projects? You know what? We're going to learn about that now.
All I do is go to work, go to school, and do this podcast. And all y'all niggas be going on fucking run-a-thons and got sitting on people's couches and shit. Stuff. And I'm just here holding the podcast down by myself.
Sitting on people's couches.
One pillow, one sheet. Night, nigga.
Wow. So I want to fake introduce Garfield, since he's the one that we are interviewing today. So for everybody who knows Smooth Order Online is their favorite fake psychologist that they ask for great advice, or who cusses them out over music opinions, or when they just make really bad tweets that don't make sense. Garfield is What are you, Jamaican?
Yes.
Wordsmith a million.
What?
Wordsworth.
Yo,
Wordsworth a
yeah,
million.
Wordsworth. That's what he used to be.
I'm still that on Google Plus, actually. I don't know how to change that shit. So.
Oh, good. Well, anyway, he's an awesome writer as well, has a blog, Life Be Life, and you went to law school. You are now in school again, focus more on writing. And so we are going to ask you hella questions. I have mine right here.
Wow, you actually have a notebook full of questions.
I'm Columbo today. I got the notes. And we just want to ask you a few words. That's all. Tune down, I'm gonna let you start.
All right. So
y'all thought y'all did good on me. I'm about to get deep with it.
I feel like with Lexi, we started with her background, so we might as well keep the same trend going. Start with your background. So you're Jamaican, right?
Correct.
And, what age did you move? You were born in Jamaica, right?
Yes, I have the shot to prove it. The shot,
the smallpox shot.
Yeah, I call it the immigrant shot. It's just my shoulder. I got the lifelong scar and everything.
Sidebar: my mom has it too, and when I was younger, I thought that somebody bit her, and that's how it healed.
What?
It looks like a bite, like a bite mark.
Here's a question: what kind of rusty tools do y'all have in Jamaica that you still have a mark from a needle?
It's a smallpox scar,
right,
from the vaccine.
How big is the needle for smallpox?
Nigga, I don't know. I got the shit when I was like very young.
Everyone who had the smallpox vaccine had that same scar.
Man, yes. That thing must be ridiculous. I'm gonna have to Google it.
So what age were you when you moved to I'm assuming Florida?
No, we actually moved to New York first. And I was
typical immigrants.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. I don't even know. Like I wasn't even like I was still like a baby, a very, very small child. I don't think I was a year old yet when we moved to New York.
When you moved, did you do it through the appropriate processes?
I don't know, nigga. I was a baby.
Well, I'm just asking. Do you know the story? Everybody had their papers and stuff, or y'all just were like dip out?
No, so like my grandmother lived in New York already, and she had been living in New York for a while, and she sent for like my mom and my aunt, and my two uncles or whatever. So she came first, and she, it's like the common immigrant story. You send one to go make all the money, and then once you're actually okay, then you send for the rest of your children. So we all actually came like together. My mom, my aunt, and my two uncles or whatever like that. I'm the first nephew, the first grandson, the first son, the first every goddamn thing. So like it was only just us when we moved.
So if you weren't born here, then are you a naturalized citizen, or are you not? You're just a resident still?
Are you asking me about my immigration status?
Yes.
Do you work for Donald Trump, nigga?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you gonna send ice to my house?
I mean,
you might be listening.
You know what? That's actually, but you know what's funny about that is I actually don't know. I think I'm an American citizen.
That's weird.
No, listen. So like when my mom had to apply for citizenship, right? And when she applied for citizenship, I was still like under 18. So I think.
Why would she have to?
Why would she have to apply? Because she wasn't a citizen when she came here.
But you can be a resident. So for example, my mom's not a citizen. She's just a resident.
No, my mom. That's what I'm saying. My mom applied to be a citizen.
My mom
did. So you have to go through like.
Oh, so she wanted to be a citizen. Okay.
Right. You have to go through the whole process. The shit takes like fucking forever. And I think once she got citizenship, I think I got citizenship. But the funny thing about, because like I have an American passport and everything too, like that, right?
Oh yeah. So
but listen, one time I had to go renew my passport because it expired. Right. So I go to, you know what I'm saying? I go to, I don't know where the fuck it is with the Social Security office, I guess, to get it renewed or whatever. It actually had me in there as an immigrant. And I found out that if my passport expires and I don't get it renewed, I'm going to show up in the system as an immigrant.
Is that?
Yeah, I don't really know what that means.
Don't get pulled over.
I don't know if that's how it works, but that's how it worked when I saw the shit. They were like, because the lady behind the desk was looking at me funny. She was like, "Are you an American citizen?" I was like, "Last time I checked, nigga, like what are you?" Right, like what are you talking about? She was like, "Yeah, no, it showed you as an immigrant in the system." So.
Okay, we'll make sure we won't have any hangups with that.
Thanks, I appreciate
it. So, did you ever have an accent, or around your family? Would you pick it up?
No, I did not I did not have an accent, and I so much did not have an accent that when I went to Jamaica for the first time when I was like 12, like I was talking to my cousins and they were like, "Nigga, you sound like a fucking American." But by the time I'd been in Jamaica for 3 weeks, I had gotten an accent, and I was talking to my grandmother, and she was like looking at me like, "When did you start talking like that?" So, so I had an accent at one point, and now I no longer have one. And you know, I had an accent for like a month, and that's pretty much it.
Don't they speak another language in Jamaica?
Not
Like patois?
I'm aware.
Patois.
That's not a language. That's just
Yeah, it's not considered a language.
Yeah, but
it's kind of like how people call AAV, whatever.
It's like dialect. It's not an accent.
So do you understand patois?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm Jamaican. Like mom,
you have. I know you have a younger brother, and you have a younger sister too.
Yeah, I have one, two, I have 3 younger brothers and 3 younger sisters.
All right, and they're all U.S. citizens born in the United States, right?
Yeah, I was the only one that was born out of the country. The sister on my dad's side is actually the only one that's not, but she lives in Jamaica, obviously, because she's on my dad's side.
So your dad still lives in Jamaica?
Yeah, he still lives there, and my sister. I'm actually an uncle because I have a nephew. Yeah, I have a nephew.
Aww. Are you gonna go back and visit?
I'd like to, but you know, like that's not the place that I'm from in Jamaica is not really a place for like tourists. Like you don't just go visit.
Well, you're
there.
not
Like
a tourist. Visit your family.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, and no. Like, like I didn't grow up there. Obviously, like my family on my grandmother's side and stuff like that. Like in my grandfather's side, like they're still there, but they're in a small part of Jamaica. Like it ain't no street light. Well, let me not say that. The last time that I went there, which was like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, like it wasn't no street lights. Houses were sitting on bricks. Like niggas was going down to the river to take baths and shit. So it was a very, very rural area. That is not an area that you just randomly go visit on happenstance.
What kind of relationship did you have with your father?
None. I didn't meet him until I was 12. Seemed like a cool dude. And that was probably the only time that I met him. He used to call me, and this is like recently, like in my late 20s, early 30s. Like I wrote him a letter when I graduated from college, because my mom was going down to Jamaica. So I wrote him a letter. He called me and he was like, you know, he was really proud of me. You know, like a day hadn't gone by that he hadn't thought about me in the last 21 years. It was a very, very touching moment. And then I didn't hear from him for like a few years or whatever. And then I guess somebody got him a phone. And he used to call me like with a calling card and we would talk and stuff like that or whatever. But I'm kind of at the point now where like, I don't really need a father, you know? So like, I don't really know it's too many years for us to try to catch up. I was like, I'm 32. It's been like 32 years. So the conversations would be weird because like, I just don't have nothing to say to the nigga. I mean, he didn't do nothing wrong. It's not his fault that he wasn't there. It's kind of, the situation just kind of is what it is. So
do you feel like you're looking back in hindsight that your life had some type of impact on you growing up?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, it did in terms of like, it didn't make me feel any different from anybody because I'm black. So like a lot of niggas didn't have their fathers growing up. So I didn't feel like the odd man out in that respect. But you know what I'm saying? Like it was for a long time, it was just me, my mom, my brother, and my sister. So like I didn't have anywhere to like go get guidance from her. Like if I had like man questions and that kind of shit or whatever, like my mom was young when she had me. So like she was kind of figuring out this parenting thing her own, you know, her damn self. So like I just spent a lot of time sort of learning life lessons by doing shit and seeing what the actual result of those things, those actions and decisions would be. Did
you get into trouble or were you pretty much focused as far as, you know, like middle school, high school, those types of years?
No, I was a pretty good kid. And then like I went to middle school and like shit just kind of went left. Like I got arrested when I was 12. I had a lot of shit happen when I was 12. I got arrested when I was 12. I was doing like a lot of ridiculous shit when I was like between like 12 and like 14. I was doing some I must have just been trying to explore like the other side of the life or some shit like that. So I got arrested when I was 12 for breaking and entering. Well, I guess it would have been burglarizing because it was a felony. You know, went through like the whole system. Like I didn't have to go to like jail or juvenile hall or anything like that. Like they were like, nigga, you look like the follower. You don't look like the ringleader. You look like the kid who went along with everybody else. And
right.
Shit. So like I was on house arrest for like 3 weeks. I had to do like 100 hours of community service. I was on probation. I actually violated my probation. As a
12-year-old?
Yes, as a 12-year-old. I spent my 13th birthday on house arrest.
Yeah,
this is so cool.
Last year I taught middle school. I had 3 students who were on house arrest.
Wow, that is so fascinating to me.
Yeah, I had like the whole like the ankle arrest.
And how do you feel about our system as far as for kids? Like, did that make you think, I don't want to do this again? I'm going to be a straight citizen? Or was it just like, nigga, I'm going even harder?
Nah, I definitely didn't. No, that was the end of my criminal enterprise. That was it. But it wasn't even really like the system that made me feel bad. Like, but that shit is embarrassing though, right? Like, cause like you got to go, you got to get fingerprinted. Like they take your picture, you know what I'm saying? They get the ankle monitor and shit like that. But actually what really broke me was like when I came out of all of that, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning because they had came and picked me up at my mom's crib at like 8. I was watching like Monday Night Raw when they came to get me. You know what I'm saying? Like real young. And like when they let me out at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like my entire family was in the fucking lobby. Like my mom was there, my grandmother was there, my aunt was there, one of my uncles who I didn't even know was in Florida was there, my mom's boyfriend was there. It was like really, really fucking embarrassing to like walk out of juvenile, like to walk out of this detention center. Like yes, it was absolutely the shame of it. And it was like, I think my mom had me when she was 16. So she was like 30. No, she was like 28. She was like 28 at the time that all this shit went down. So it was just like, you're 28 years old with 3 kids and your oldest son, like your pride and bundle of joy is like walking out of a detention center. Like that ain't how she saw that going. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't the expectations that my family raised me with.
Right.
So kind of felt like, like I don't want to bring that kind of shame to my family, which is like really strange.
So at the time you said you had 2 younger siblings. How much older were you than your siblings at the time?
So I'm 32. The first brother is 27. He just turned 27. My sister's the sister after that is 25. There's a very big age gap. I have another brother who's 16, and then a pair of twins, boy-girl twins that are 14.
Because I'm assuming that Jamaicans are kind of like Nigerians, and that my mom was always like, since I was the oldest boy, like I had to set an example.
Yep.
For my younger siblings, and that was like part of the reason why like I tried not to get in trouble, because like I wanted my brothers to also like do well. And if my brothers all of a sudden, like if your brother all of a sudden like started breaking and entering, like breaking into spots, your mom would look at you like, look what you started, basically.
Yeah, like the weird shit about my mom is like she always used to make it seem like if the kids didn't turn out to be shit, it was my fault.
Damn.
Like, nigga, I'm not the parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't give birth to these niggas. You know what I'm saying? But like, she used to always be like, you need to set a good example. They're watching you. Like whatever it is that you don't, whatever it is that you're gonna do, that they're gonna follow in your footsteps and stuff like that or whatever. More particularly for the brother that was obviously alive at the time that was happening, because he's 6 years younger than me. So he, whatever I did, he did. So she used to always make it seem like, nigga, like if these kids don't turn out to be shit, like the blame is squarely on your feet. And I used to be like, nigga,
my parents do the same.
That ain't how that worked at all.
You always feel like you've had a lot of extra responsibility on you?
No, which is funny because I think they actually went to my younger brother, he was a lot more mature at his age than I was at my age. And like, even if you meet the nigga now, like he's got like this quiet oldness about him, because the nigga he's always observing and he don't talk much. He talk when he need to, but he don't talk much. So like, I think my mother was like, you're the oldest one when she was talking about me, but my brother was probably like the more responsible one, I guess.
Interesting.
So the burden for responsibility probably kind of fell on him more than it did for me. Like my only thing was to like, you gotta stay out of trouble. That was really the only responsibility that I had. Otherwise, like for doing other shit, I think they kind of left that shit to my brother.
Why did you choose to go to law school?
I wanted to be a lawyer. So I had this very when I was like 10 or 11 or some shit like that, like I was very like socially aware, or about as socially aware as you can be at 11 years old when you don't really have the internet and shit like that. Like I used to just witness things that used to happen in my neighborhood as far as like the police is concerned and like how I always felt about white people in general, because I developed that at a very early age. And I was like, like people was getting locked up, niggas was going to jail and stuff like that or whatever. And I was like, I want to be a lawyer because, like I want to save the world. Like I want to keep black people out of prison. You know what I'm saying? The only way that you can learn to beat the criminal justice system is by becoming a part of it and like advocating against it and like sharing knowledge. Like I wanted to be a judge and working like like I wanted to not teach, like be a teacher, but like be a professor and like raise the next generation of black consciousness and all that bullshit. So
how did you become socially aware at such a
I don't
young
know.
age?
I don't really know.
With neighbors, family.
I think like my mom told me at a really early age that like she was like, you're black and you're a man. That's 2 strikes against you already, and these people can't wait to find a 3rd strike to lock your black ass up. So you need to be careful how you moving out in the world and stuff like that. And they would constantly tell me that shit. And I think it's just, like it just triggered something where I was just like, like after that was actually, they would tell me that before I got arrested, and then they really made that a point after I got arrested. But it was just something, I don't know, something I was aware of. Like where I lived, it was hard to not notice that we were being treated differently because we were black.
Okay. Do you feel like that's just being real, or that it's kind of fear mongering, or that any other type of messaging would have been healthier or better? Because it sounds almost like that somebody telling you, hey, you're a victim. And I'm not even going on either side necessarily, but just asking you.
Right. I mean, I think, it could be, but I think the context of it matters. Like you're talking about like my mother, who was at the time that she was telling me this was in her mid-20s, right? Like she's in her mid-20s. She's an immigrant.
Low key now, that's kind of young to be aware. Well, back then when you didn't have internet stuff, Right.
So like my mom was, she was 25 at the time. She had 3 kids when she was 25. We're living in Florida. We're living with my grandmother and stuff like that. And like she's raising my mom is raising us by herself. Like there's no male figure to like help or nothing like that or whatever. So, I think my mom, what she was really just trying to do was like trying to make me aware of like how I fit into the world, or how the world saw me, and to like not have any sort of designs that the world saw me any differently. And I guess it worked because I turned out all right.
So you went to, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tunde.
So you went to law school in North Carolina.
Yeah, I went to North Carolina Central University. Shout out to the Legal Eagles and all that.
The Legal Eagles?
That's what because it's the
That's funny.
Wow. Okay.
That's what they call them, man.
The Legal Eagles. That's kind of fire, actually.
So you were born in Jamaica, and you moved to New York. From New York, you went to Florida.
Yep.
And then undergrad, you went to
Florida State.
So NC, North Carolina Central, is a HBCU.
Yes. How
was it going from a pretty big school in Florida State to a HBCU?
I mean, at that time, I was kind of tired of white people, and I really just wanted to go. I really wanted the black experience, and I mean, I guess I kind of got it because Central is like 55% black and like, I don't know. I think it's 45% black and like 35% white. So there's still a sizable white population at the law school, but I mean, I only hung with the niggas anyway. So that was that. But like, it was cool. Like I think even at Florida State, like I didn't do nothing but hang around black people anyway. It just happened to be. I wanted to go to a smaller school that would allow me to concentrate on law school and stuff like that. Because I'd basically done everything in my life to prepare for the moment to get to law school, and I didn't want to be deterred by anything. So when I was looking for schools or whatever, I applied to Howard, but fuck Howard. When I got to Central, Central just had they had a really good deal in terms of like the cost to go there, like the cost associated with going there and stuff like that. And at the time I was like, wherever I went to law school was where I was going to live. So at the time I had planned on staying in North Carolina, but plans change. So they had like cheap tuition, you know, all the professors were black, like the people were black. Like I just wanted to be in some really, really black shit. And I actually had, minus the school portion of it, because the school portion of it was fucking stressful, but just like building with the people and hanging out in Durham and stuff like that, I had a fucking incredible time.
Garfield, what was the best thing about law school? Oh no.
I don't know
That's
if there's a
not
best thing about law school.
What was the best thing about being in law school?
Graduating. I think graduating was like the best part about law school, because law school was like
that idea. I don't like that answer. So that means you didn't enjoy it. Would you do it again?
No, I would not. I would absolutely no. I'm very, very open about my disdain for the entire law school process, because the law school is like a law. It's like a law of attrition. Like it's basically survival of the fittest. Like if you can't survive here, then you got to fucking go. And that sort of permeates like everything. Like you don't operate in a normal space for like 3 years of your life, because everything that you're doing is predicated on the idea that, you know, if you don't make it this semester, then you won't make it here at all. Like if you miss out on a semester, if you lose a semester, you have to take off for a year before you come back. So it's like the stakes are not unusually high, but they're really high, and it feels like just that constant pressure of being. And we're on a C curve, and most law schools are on a B curve. You know what I'm saying? So like it's just like a lot of pressure to perform.
And then I hear it's kind of messed up because the job market's not even good. So you get out, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like super. At the time that I was going was like 2009 and 2012. It wasn't like super good either. So like people talk about like the competition that law school fosters. I didn't really feel like that, because all of the people that I went to school with, like even the upperclassmen, they were super fucking helpful. Like the one thing that I will say about Central, as far as the people that I went to school with, you know, when I was a 1L, like the 2Ls and 3Ls and stuff like that, they were really like looking out. Like niggas will come and meet with you and be like, yo, we about to do a study group. If you need help with contracts, if you need help with property, if you need help with this or that, you know, come to the study meeting at this time or whatever like that. Like the black men at the school had like, and the black women, like we would have like separate tutoring sessions. Like, yo, like we gonna get all the black men together. Y'all get all the black women together. You know what I'm saying? We gonna, you know, this how we gonna handle it, whatever like that. So they were really, really good about, if you needed help or you needed resources, if you needed an outline, if you needed like to know how a certain professor tests, like you need people that used to be in your section and stuff like that. They were really good about getting people together and like helping everybody to get through it. But the actual experience was fucking awful.
G, you are an incredible writer. I love reading your writing. Have you always liked writing?
Yes, I have. Although the writing took different forms over my life, like all little black kids, I wanted to be a rapper.
I was about to say you're probably like a rose in the concrete.
Yeah, like I wasn't particularly good at the rapping portion of it. I enjoyed like pretending that I was good at rapping.
Do you want to ghostwrite for me? Hold on, we can talk about that later.
Wow.
What part of New York do you live in? What borough?
I live in the Bronx.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna guess.
To this day. You stupid. So yeah, like I used to write raps when I was little or whatever like that. They were fucking awful. I wrote raps in college and they were also awful. I used to battle rap on message boards when I was in high school. And that doesn't require me to actually rap. That just requires me to write. So I was really good at that part. And then like in college, like, yeah, basically. And in college, like I did like spoken word. Like I started a spoken word poetry group at FSU when I was there. You said
was that around the time you grew your dreads out?
No, it was not.
I was trying to connect the dots.
No relation. Nah, so I did like I did like poetry, spoken word, like right.
Watch on YouTube, guys.
Whatever. So like like I did spoken word and stuff like that or whatever. Like my roommate had like a little makeshift studio. We used to rap.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You did that with Dez, right?
Yeah, like Dez used to come to my house all the time.
My roommate, like nobody knows who Dez is. Wow.
No, Dez wasn't my roommate.
Oh, okay.
Dez was just the nigga who was always at my house because my roommate had the little makeshift studio. Right. So yeah, we made like a little mixtape. Like I did like a couple of freestyle battles
like Wale
on campus or whatever. You said what?
Like Wale, like did the spoken word before you rapped?
No, please say it ain't true.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't do that.
Excuse me. Do we have access to?
No. No.
Please, can we link that to the show?
No. We cannot do that. No. But and then like in undergrad, like the Black Student Union had like this paper called like the Nubian Waves or whatever. So I used to write like little articles for them or whatever. When I graduated, I used to write notes on Facebook, which is actually how I was in a relationship and I broke up with somebody. I started writing really, really long notes on MySpace. And then I started writing notes on Facebook. And Facebook was kind of how I transitioned into blogging, and that's kind of like where my writing career sort of started.
That's funny how heartbreak tends to bring the art out of people.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you when did you recognize for yourself that I like writing, I want to do something with this and get paid?
When I actually found out that people got paid to write, which was like 2013, because I say this shit all the time. People always think that I'm like joking. Like I used to read magazines and stuff like that, but it never dawned on me that they paid people to write those articles. Like I never knew that. So in like 2013, I was kind of like done with blogging because I was like, I'm tired of writing, and it's like a lot, like writing a blog and keeping up a blog and doing that shit every single week for, at that point, probably like 7 years. Was like a lot. And then people were like, well, why don't you freelance? And I was like, what do you mean freelance? And they were like, you can write an article and get paid. And I was like, word? They do that? So I pitched my first article to Ebony. Shout out to Jamila. She was the first person who gave me a freelance writing opportunity. I wrote an article for her and it was trash. And she sent it back and she said, you need to do this again. So I wrote it again and she sent me a check for $150. I still have that article saved in like a frame. It's like the first article that I ever got paid to write.
But you've also been on BBC a couple of times and have been reached out to for adding your expertise to news stories. How did you get into that lane?
BBC actually reached out to me like real randomly. Like I was at home tweeting about some shit. No, dead ass. Like I was at home tweeting about some shit. Right. No, like I don't know if you guys remember the story about the black dude in Ohio who found like those 2 kidnapped women. Yeah, they were like living in his neighborhood or some shit like that. Like that was like I was talking about that online, and somebody from BBC like hit me up and it was like, do you want to be on like the radio show to talk about it or whatever like that? So that was like the first thing that I ever did. And like they would just randomly hit me up and they'd be like, we're about to go on air. Can you get on Skype to talk about this or whatever? And one time, they were like, you live in Washington. They were like, you live near Washington, D.C., right? And I was like, yeah. They were like, we'd love to come to the studio to do some commentary on whatever. So like, they really just asked, and I would just show up and do some shit.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, we've been talking for a little while. Tunde, you okay with the idea? Can we do a rapid fire? Just throw some questions out there and try to get, your first and kind of some quick answers.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, we've only gotten through his, journalism and law school years. But I just have some kind of random questions just about you.
Okay.
Tunde, you got any first?
Yeah.
Shoot 'em. Let's go fast.
Do you prefer living on the East Coast or in the South?
I like the South.
Because what? Slower pace?
I like driving. And I feel like you can't really drive in those bigger cities. Like I very much appreciate the getting into the car and sort of bonding with the car and road moments that I have. I do my best thinking when I'm doing that.
G.
Yes.
Are aliens real?
Yes, they are.
How do you feel about the show Ancient Aliens?
I've never seen that show.
Oh, jeez. G. Go ahead, Tunde. We'll go back and forth.
Okay. What is your dream car?
Ooh.
I actually owned it. It was a BMW 325i, which I just sold earlier this year before I got my new car.
What is your new car now?
So is it still your dream car then?
No, it's not my dream car anymore because I got it. So I don't have a dream car now. But I drive a Mazda 6, which was like the car that I wanted for like the last 2 years. And I got it. Hooray for me.
Biggie or Pac?
Biggie.
Favorite TV show right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
What am I watching right now? I'm like looking at the TV and shit like TV's I guess Westworld, because it's kind of like now. I'd say Game of Thrones, but like everybody. I'm caught up on Westworld already.
Oh, okay. It got a little weird on me, and I was like,
I'd say Game of Thrones, but like that's everybody's answer. So
Well, I had a similar question, kind of. Mine is, if you could be on any TV show anytime, what would you be on? You could just
the
be a guest.
Carmichael Show.
Huh. I could see you fitting there.
That's still on?
No, it's not. But you know, if it was on, I'd be on the
Mhm.
Carmichael Show.
Yeah, that show is actually pretty dope.
Yes, it is.
MGK or Eminem?
In the battle,
There's
Yeah.
only one right answer here.
MGK roasted that nigga, son. What do you mean? Roasted that nigga. 2 pieces.
G, what's a song everyone likes but you hate?
Do you have a long enough? We don't have enough time.
Name a couple.
Mostly anything by Future that everybody likes.
Really?
Well,
Yeah, I don't.
You don't
I'm not
like any
a
Future
super big
songs?
fan. I like some Future songs, but like the Future
You don't
songs
like
that
the
people
gassed
like.
up stuff. And...
Yeah, I don't be liking that shit. I don't like that. I don't like the Drake song. Whatever one's in the top Billboard shit. I don't like any. I like I'm Upset, and nobody. Yeah, that Kiki, do you love me shit? That's not for me. I like I'm Upset, but everybody hates that one. So I don't really know how that works.
Okay.
Okay, I said I was gonna ask this in the group me. How's it feel to be flown out?
I've never been flown out, Tunde.
Lie detector determined.
Wait a minute.
I've never been. I've had women fly to me that I didn't pay for, but I've never been flown out by anybody. I should add that to my 2019 list to be flown out.
Where would you like to be flown out to?
I don't know. Anywhere I ain't never been before, which is pretty much anywhere in the United States that isn't on the East Coast. So I want to fly me to Texas. Somebody want to fly me to New Orleans. Somebody want to fly me to Cali.
Oh, definitely. New Orleans
Washington
listeners, fly him out, please.
Somebody want to fly me to Seattle or some shit. I'll go out there. You know what I'm saying? They want to fly me to North Dakota. That might be a negative.
Yeah.
Ooh, Chicago. Yeah. Somebody will fly me to Chicago.
In the spring or summer, though. Don't go.
Yeah, not in the winter. You're
running out of time now.
Yeah.
G, do you believe that Jesus is a real person?
Yes.
Follow-up question. Do you believe that Jesus is your personal Lord and Savior?
Yo, why am I cracking up at this so much?
He about to hit me. He about to hit me with the yeah, nah. Yeah. Yes, Jesus is my Lord and Savior.
Why?
As well.
Okay, never. I'm not gonna go there. My next question. Have you ever owned a sidekick?
No, unfortunately.
No.
Oh man, people thought they were so cool with that when they flipped it open.
I want to get a beeper. Tunde, you're up.
How's it feel to be a Twitter honey?
Sheesh, he's like trying to.
Wow.
What?
Coming from you, you, nigga.
How about Twitter honey?
Matter of fact, both of y'all niggas is Twitter honeys.
Whoa! You don't got to throw me under that bus.
I don't know anything about being a Twitter honey. I'm just a regular nigga on Twitter. That's me.
You know, random people hit me up and say, "You know that G guy? I see him on timeline all the time." Gotta tell them about the podcast. Like, oh, you know him? like not even like people be on Twitter all the time. Like you're a celebrity or something.
It's interesting how people do become like that, though, in other people's eyes.
I've had that happen before, though. Like when I used to write like a lot more or whatever. Like I had somebody come up to me and was like, "Are you're?" I used to go by Real Goes Right. I actually went by Real Goes Right when the podcast first started. They're like, "Your Real Goes Right, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They was like, "Oh my god, I love your work." And I was like, "Really?" Like, you know, when you post stuff online, like you know people read, but like you're not sure if people are reading for real. You know what I'm saying? So like when somebody walks up to you in real life, is like, "Yeah, I saw the thing that you posted online, and I'm talking about it to you in your face." It's like, wow, like this, you know, these articles do go places.
Oh, I have a question. So like a lot of people have, not a lot of people, but people have issues with some of your tweets, right? Like you always get like pushback on some of your tweets. Has anyone ever approached you like in public over your tweets?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're not real. G, what's your favorite time of day?
Night. Preferably like 2:30 in the morning.
What?
What?
Is that the time you play video games?
No, that's yeah, but.
And what are your favorite games right now?
I'm playing Spider-Man right now.
Ooh, is it nice?
Spider-Man's fire.
What console do you use? Sorry, True.
PlayStation 4.
What's your name on there?
Analyst 1985.
Bet. Anybody want to challenge G? It's Analyst 1985.
Can't challenge me on Spider-Man, but okay.
Not on Spider-Man, obviously, but hopefully you play other games. You don't play any shooter games? You don't play any...
Nah, not really. Not anymore. Like when I was younger and I had like the time to dedicate to being good at those games, I did. But like now I'm just like, nigga, I gotta go to
You
work,
like fun
so,
shit.
Yeah. I use video games as a solitary thing to sort of like calm my mind down and escape from the day. And I can't escape from the day if I'm cussing at niggas at 2:00 in the morning because they shot me in the face.
Speaking of escapes, G, are you still smoking Black and Milds?
Next question.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. One mountain at a time, niggas. Easy.
Bro.
Dude, what you got? I got a couple more.
Okay, gym related questions.
Yes.
Do you have any short-term, long-term goals as far as fitness?
Short-term goals is to look good naked. Long-term goals is to just be overall healthy and also continue to look good naked.
G, how do you feel about Greek life in MPHC?
I don't feel anything. I wanted to be an alpha at one point. I thought the bros was cool, but I kind of feel like the process was not made for somebody with my personality.
Do you feel that Greek life is I don't want to say a necessity, but in the same way there's conversation around HBCUs not being as relevant, do you feel like Greek life is still relevant?
Yeah. I think the thing that I was looking forward to when I wanted to join was like that, like we talked earlier about the fact that I didn't have a father figure and that so I didn't know where to go for guidance. It's not guidance, but like I didn't have like a dude to talk to about man shit or whatever. So I thought by joining a fraternity of people that I actually liked or that had people that I actually liked, that would give me like that sort of camaraderie and that brotherhood that I didn't have when I was growing up, because I had siblings, but all those niggas were younger than me. And then I had cousins, but they didn't live next to me. So I was really just looking for my own tribe, more or less, when I wanted to join.
Cool.
But that didn't really work out. And that's fine.
G, how do you define success for yourself?
By being happy at what I'm doing when I wake up in the morning and not feeling like I don't want to live the life that I'm living.
And to you, you know what that looks like what those things are that...
Yeah, that would require things like me being able to swipe my bank card without checking my bank account. That will also require me being able to put my bills on auto pay without worrying about it.
Man, that's real.
Yeah, that would also require like me being able to give my mother some money without like wondering if she's going to pay me back, because I know she's not. Yeah, that's it's very, very humble stuff, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Tunde, you got anything? Successful. I still got a couple. If you don't, you don't.
No. Oh yeah. Regrets.
Ooh.
What's your biggest regret? And let's say, I'm gonna give it a time limit. Last 5 years. 10 years. 10 years.
Oof.
Your 10 years are low.
Jesus Christ. I think it would have to be like, I shouldn't even say this. I think it would have to be like the way that I've handled relationships with women in the past. I wasn't always upfront, and I wasn't always forthcoming with my feelings. I didn't always treat them the way that they deserve to be treated. And not that I treated them like badly or anything, but I just wasn't always honest with them or myself. And in not being honest with myself, I couldn't be honest with them. And sort of like the fallout that happens from that chain of events that I didn't handle correctly. One, because I didn't like confrontation with people that I was involved with, which was a lot of the reason why things sort of went the way that they did. Those are big regrets, because I feel like I'm in such a better place now, because I've had the opportunity to go to therapy and sort of break down my behavior and look at like all the ways that I was making these situations happen, that I wish I could have been better for them in that respect. I wish they could have gotten an opportunity because the women that I was with, they really, really liked me, and I really, really liked them. But I just, like I said, I wasn't honest. And I wish that, and I know I felt like they saw the potential for me to be back when, you could look at a nigga's potential because we were younger and shit like that or whatever. But I feel like they all saw the potential in me for me to be better than I was. And I regret that I wasn't better. I wasn't as good as they thought that I could have been. And that now that I am better, that they won't get to benefit from that, even though they have a hand, however small, in making me a better person.
That was beautiful. G, if you could go to any location during any time period, where would you go and when?
I want to go to Italy during some Italian shit. I don't know what their national holidays are or anything like that, but I just
So
really want to go.
presently, though, not back in time or forward in time or anything.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, like any time period, any place.
I would have
Like
really
you
liked to
could
have
have been at any event or whatever.
I would have really liked to have been in Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance.
Ooh. I have it. Sorry, because I know we're asking you. But I have a feeling it would have been kind of like how now it's like a lot of people are creating, but we still be fighting. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of things happening even right now. We won't really, or not we, but a lot of people won't really fully recognize until later. And I wonder if it was like that, like a bunch of niggas just like still arguing and being petty or whatever. But now we can look at it and say, "Wow, that was really cool."
Yeah, I think. That. But I also think that like I would like to have been there during that time period just to see like the difference between, because when you talk about the Harlem Renaissance, like a lot of people were in close proximity with one another. So you're bumping shoulders with these people, these prolific writers and poets and all these different artists are like in a relatively close space. So I feel like you have a big greater chance of bumping into each other on a more regular basis than, sort of like the digital of digital. I'll call it digital Black Renaissance or whatever, where it's like we're also interconnected by some way, but like it's via internet, like it's not in person.
Cool. Anything else, Tunde?
That's all I had.
Well, I only have 2 more questions, G.
Wonderful.
I appreciate your time this morning, letting us into your world.
I'm trying, nigga. I'm trying.
What is one of your favorite Jay-Z lines? And why?
Ooh. I wish that you would ask me that before, so I could have thought about it. Damn.
I know there's probably a few.
There's like a million of them like crashing into my head right now.
Which is what makes him the best rapper and greatest rapper alive, correct?
Obviously.
Making sure.
I don't know. I'm gonna answer that before. What's the other question? I'm gonna think about it for a little bit.
Well, my other question is, what is the meaning of life?
What?
What is the meaning of life to you?
Oh, to me, damn, you just gonna ask me 2 hard questions back to back like that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The meaning of life to me is, I think it's about living a life that you're proud of. Like living a life that you feel, hey man, like if nothing else happened, like I'm completely content with where it is, like what it is that I've done.
Peace.
Right. Like what it is that I've done, the person that I've become, you sort of made, like everybody goes through shit. We all go through struggles. We all dealing with our own different sorts of demons. We're all, occasionally not good people who do really, really bad things. But I think that, the meaning is that you're supposed to live and you learn, and then you find little ways to improve. Everything doesn't have to be a wholesale change. Sometimes you make one small change, and that one small change today may affect something really, really big tomorrow. And then hopefully one small change tomorrow will affect something really, really big in the future. And like, I just feel like you, as best as you can, you try to make a continuous upward trajectory of whatever it is that you're doing until you get to a point where you're like, nigga, I'm here. Like everything that I've worked for, everything that I've sacrificed for, everything that I've been willing to give up, everything that I've been willing to put into this thing that I call life, I've done it, and these are the results, and I'm completely happy with those results.
What an incredible response.
Thank you. Favorite Jay-Z line? That is a really, really hard question.
I said one of your favorites, so it could be like one of the top ones that just pops into your head.
I know. I'm just trying to think. Like, there's so many. Like, this is actually kind of dark, but that's kind of. So, this is from The Evils. He says, the closest of friends when we first started, but grew apart as the money grew, but soon grew black-hearted. Thinking back when we first learned to use rubbers, we never learned, so in turn, I'm kidnapping his baby's mother. My hand around the collar, feeding the cheese. He said the taste of dollars was shitty, so I fed her 50s. Our bodies where it bounced. I wasn't convinced. I kept feeding her money until shit started to make sense. Who could ever foresee we used to stay up all night at slumber parties? Now I'm trying to rock this bitch to sleep. And that's really one of like my favorite Jay-Z quotes, because I think what he's talking about, like people talk about like rap and drugs and the rap game and the crack game and niggas selling drugs and niggas dying. And I think with those lines, what he's really talking about is the name of the song is called The Evils. And what he's really talking about is just like how this constant chase of money and this constant like accumulation of wealth can turn even your best friends into your enemies, and that you can use people around them to destroy them. But that's crazy because, you know, we used to fight for building block. We used to fight with building blocks. Now we fight for blocks with buildings that make a killing. We used to be friends who were in the playpen that played with building blocks, but now we're still together. We're playing with a different sort of blocks in terms of drugs or whatever like that. And then, you know, thinking back when we first learned to use rubbers, he never learned. So in turn, I'm kidnapping his baby's mother. It's like, yeah, like this nigga has a child. So basically, like you're using his own family member against him. About his whereabouts, I wasn't convinced. I kept feeding her money until her shit started to make sense. Like he basically paid her enough money to turn on her baby father. Just the visual and sort of like the metaphor that's going with it, but like the undercurrent of what he's talking about, like how it's just so dual layered.
How it all connects.
It's fucking crazy.
That was a great answer as well.
Sean Carter. Man,
Sean Carter's the man, yo.
Man, he's just washed.
Okay.
Wow.
And
wow.
He's a good
I think this is not the We Care About Tunde episode, because I got some questions I'm writing down for you.
Here we go.
So yeah. So if that's all, then wow, that was fun. That was fun.
Great job.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate it.
Remember when Tunde tried to convert you? Like 20 minutes ago?
20 minutes ago. Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior.
Like, geesh. Yeah, we appreciate you, G. You have such an interesting life. I never knew you were on house arrest at the age of 12. And now I know for sure that I'm going to purchase your book when it comes out.
Fucking felon, man.
Your second book.
Yeah, I did write a book.
Shoot. What's your first book?
The first book I wrote is you didn't even ask the good shit. So the first book that I ever wrote was this book.
We didn't get to everything. I didn't know you had a book, or maybe you had.
No, you probably didn't. So the first book I ever wrote was called The Soundtrack to My Life, which is like it was like 11 chapters where each chapter was a different song that I applied to a specific portion of my life.
Cool.
And that's how the entire book is written.
Where
and like really, I don't know. It's like I actually have a digital copy somewhere in my Google Drive or whatever. But like I got my homeboy to do like artwork for it. So like he did this really dope cover with like a record player scratching or whatever like that. So every artist that I had J. Cole in there, Big Sean, Crit, Kendrick, Mos Def. Like he did. Yeah, no, I gave it away for free. It was like a passion project.
Oh, cool. So can people still get that from you if they want it?
Yeah, if you hit up the email podcast, I'll send you a copy of the book.
Cool. I'm gonna be first in line.
Wonderful. All right then. Well, that's NWAP season 5, episode 4. Meet the Negro. I was the Negro that you met. Remember, you can find us on iTunes. Are we still on Stitcher? We're still on Stitcher, right?
I think so.
Oh, well, iTunes, Stitcher, Google, and also Spotify.
You gotta do Jamaican horn since you're Jamaican.
All that good shit there.
Oh man.
All right. So next week we'll be back with Tunde's episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there like a Nigerian call or something? I don't know.
Shit. No, that's the Jamaican.
That's the Jamaican.
What do Nigerians do? Well, that'll be our question we ask you. Get ready.
All right. We'll holler at y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.